Welcome back to I'm Sam Reed, the podcast of creative thinkers and doers. It is I, the mayor, Flobo Boyce, in the mayor's office, hanging with people who are doing the damn thing. And my guest on this episode has done the thing. In fact, we shared the stage a couple times in the comedy scene in Southern California, but that's only a slice of what she does. She's an actor, producer, and so much more. Please welcome Jennifer Gable. How's it going?
Hi, it's going good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I mean, you are a big get. I had asked you to be on the show about a year ago, and
I
we finally
did
get to be
not
on it.
see the message. I get like sometimes they get hidden, but then I saw it again. So
Yeah, that's how it happens when you're in demand, right? 2023, you seem to be everywhere doing the thing.
thank you. I appreciate. I'm trying. Yeah.
Yeah, what's that like though? I mean, coming out of a pandemic, I mean, just having things ramp up and everything like that.
It's interesting. I did. Thank you so much for telling me this was a podcast. By the way, I did a few podcasts over COVID, and someone booked me on a show, and I thought it was like a stand-up show, but it was like a podcast. And I just came on. Oh, we're doing a podcast. Okay, cool. I was like in my car filming, so that was awkward. Anyway, but I'm here in my lovely future home. No, I love this virtual background. This is great. But yeah, I booked a lot of Zoom shows because I didn't have to touch anyone, so that was good. I booked like international shows, which was cool, like a Canada show and then like a European show. So just kind of like, see, I grew up in an alcoholic household, so I'm used to like thriving in chaos. So it's been good. Yeah.
Even before the pandemic, like I felt like I was a neat freak before with the microphone, but now even more, I'm like,
You kind of, I mean, as far as it's interesting times we're living in. Like, you kind of have to watch what you say now, but at the same time, it's like, what is canceled? There's no such thing as like, no one's really getting canceled. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, are they? They are and they're not. But yeah, like I feel like my writing kind of like, I mean, I love writing, so I write daily. I just kind of like I'm addicted to my phone and social media.
Yeah.
I'm on all the channels and stuff, and I just love seeing what's going on in the world and like interacting with people. And I think all that kind of fuels my creativity. And there's so many topics now to talk about and to joke about, so it's a pretty great time for comedy. I feel like so many people want to be comedians now, which is like annoying, but also good. Like, it's great. But yeah. So
for the record, I was referring to the actual germs of the physical microphone, but you hit a good point about the cancel culture expressing yourself. Has that evolved for you during the rest of your career? I mean, we went through a time where it was kind of like, watch what you say. Now there's like a backlash to watch what you say, just do your thing. How's that been affecting your approach?
Yeah, I mean, I went viral on Twitter. I don't know if you caught that, for an edgy joke I wrote, and it was pretty crazy. But it was kind of cool. Like I wrote the joke knowing, I'm like, this is kind of edgy, but I didn't expect it to go viral like it did. And I don't know. So I actually turned on. So now I didn't even realize you can like, so basically nobody can respond to my Twitter. So it's kind of like blocked. So I mean, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't block it and go viral again, but it's interesting. Like, people are just fighting nonstop politically online. It's just like kind of never ending. I don't know. So sometimes I engage in it to a point. Sometimes it's like, I don't have time for it. So I don't respond, so.
And you're originally from the East Coast, correct? Like
correct.
East
Washington, D.C. I grew up. Yeah.
Like proper on the Maryland side? Doesn't matter.
I just outside of D.C., Alexandria, Virginia is where I was.
Okay. Yeah, respect. And then you have that both the coast sensibilities, right? The East Coast living in spirit. You're out here, and the West Coast. Is it true what they say though about the regional differences of comedy, or it's kind of like if you're funny?
I think so. Funny? Yeah, I was in New York for a year doing stand up, and I think kind of there is a difference. There is, I miss Manhattan. I actually want to go back there and do comedy some more. I love New York City comedians. I feel like they're a little more talented than LA. I mean, it's a different vibe, and it's more about the art there. And so I miss that. And the audiences are really cool in New York. I mean, LA comics too. They're nice and they're talented as well. It's different. It's hard to kind of explain, but yeah.
I feel like New York has a bit of it too, but it's a lot more in LA where there are people about the craft of comedy. Like, I'm a comedian, and then there's like the other discipline, like the improv or the actor who has an agent who says, take a comedy class. You'll love that too.
I mean, someone told me, and I think this is true, like LA is kind of more about image. I mean, there is more, it's image here and, fame and influencers. So it's like that thing going on here. So Yeah, it's different.
So walk me through this. The first time you did comedy, what was like an open mic situation? Did you take a class? Or you just like, I'm doing it for it today? What
No,
was that first day like?
I came here to be an actor, and I had friends in comedy. Like I've known Bobby Lee forever, and he actually told me to do stand up, and I guess he saw something in me. And then I was friends with Erica Rhodes, who's also a comedian now. She was an actress. We were on this like B horror film together, and she started doing stand up, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. I went and saw a show, and that's how I just got into it. I was like, I should just try it, and I went to an open mic, and they're actually really supportive. And I don't know, I just got fueled by the laughter. Like when people start coming, open mic comics started laughing at me. I was like, oh my God. Like I just kept going with it, and I just became addicted to it, and I haven't stopped. I haven't even taken a break. Like I just have continued to do shows after shows for like almost 10 years now. So
That's what's up. A lot of times it's kind of people who haven't been in an open mic situation don't really understand what it is to go to open mic going, okay, I'm learning mechanics for myself, but having no response at all most times. But they have the other comics go, oh, hey, you're pretty funny. It's kind of cool.
Which is hard to do. And a lot of comics don't want to laugh at you. I have no problem with I love supporting comedians. I don't get threatened by most I like to encourage comics and like hire them, and like I don't know, but there is this competitive, which I hate about that. That's one thing I hate about comedy is the competitive nature about how people act. Yeah, I wish that would change more. But
what do you think accounts for that? Is it because it's such a solo experience being on stage and having that perspective, or it seems to be like a gold rush when it comes to like specials and things like that?
I just think people are like that in general. They've been like that in other fields I've worked in, so it's not like entertainment alone. So I don't know. I think there's not, I think if you create your own opportunities, that's kind of really important, especially now. Like, I mean, the industry is always changing. So it's like, you never know. There's not like one correct path. Like someone might get this, they might get that. And then you see, I mean, it's like up and down, and you never know. There's not a whole lot of stability in it. So I think I think it's great. Like artists are like now producing their own specials, which I'm doing this year. And then I started my podcast again. I think having a podcast and just writing your own scripts, I mean, that's what you have to do to kind of fuel your creativity and sustain yourself.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think a lot of times we call it the content play because it sounds like very cool and buzzworthy, but to be able to have that other material to put your brand out there is super important. But before we talk about your special, I have a question for you though. Do you think, true or false, specials aren't special anymore, and it's harder to become special to make a special?
Yes and no. It just depends. Like I was talking to Liz Miley about this on my pod. I think it just depends on the cream will rise to the top. I mean, I've seen awful specials on Netflix, but I've seen great specials on YouTube. So I think it doesn't really matter per se. Like, yeah, I mean, it is a little. It's an extreme now. I think people think like I've been seeing these like new comics just like make specials, and I don't know how special they are, honestly. I think it takes. I mean, I'm not gonna toot. I'm talented, but I've worked at it, and I'm still not as great as I want to be, and I know I can be, but it takes 10, like I literally just started getting a different type of laughter, but that took 10 years to get to that level. Like it's not, I don't think people understand, like, these people that are great, they've been doing it for 20 years. Like it takes a long time to be like super talented and funny at stand-up comedy. It's not something that happens, in like 5 years, but yeah.
Absolutely. Reference the episode with Liz Miley on the Attention Harlot podcast, available now on YouTube, which I had a chance to listen to. Pretty cool to have a broken skull session, if you will, with two luminaries in the comedy space. You talked about what it means to be a comedian. It's also what it means to be a woman in comedy. But what I also loved about it is like the approach of technique. A lot of times people think from the outside is go up there and tell some jokes and it's over. But there really is a craft to it. And I wonder about their approach. What's been your opinion about the shift of that? I felt like, 20 years, 30 years ago, it was take my wife, please, or isn't it funny how, but now it's a little bit more than that. No?
Yeah, I mean, it's always kind of evolving. I mean, I've always people have told me I write in a unique way. I mean, I do and I don't. I'm starting to try to lean more towards doing stories myself because I have written a lot of kind of like one-liner jokes. And like sometimes I'll play around with like Stephen Wright kind of styles, like that old kind of Wright. Yeah, I used to say, I wasn't going to touch political humor, but there's really no way not to now. Like you kind of, right? There's so much, it's like, it's hard not, I mean, everyone's kind of a political comic to an extreme now anyway. So True. I always try to be clean. That's one thing I've tried to do, which, I mean, and then sometimes I'll write edgy, but I think for me, like someone was telling me too, it's about like every word does count and matter. And so sometimes on stage, like I've gotten to a point now where it's like I'm very comfortable, almost like kind of improv my jokes. Like I'll write new jokes and then they just work because I like know that they're gonna work. But yeah, I'm always kind of like taking different words. I'm like, what if I put this word in or take this word out? And also rhythm. I mean, I get like just talking about there is so much to it. There's like rhythm, there's like, words, story, what topic are you even talking about? Like it's just so much to really like think about. And it's kind of like I want to kind of tell jokes where everyone's going to laugh and understand, like old, young, whoever you are, like you can relate to it. I think, and then people have told me, they're like, audience have told, when I talk to audiences, they're like, I like jokes that are relatable, or they like, and I get that. Like, I'm trying to do that more where it's not about talking about me, like, hey, this is my life, which I think after a while you're like, okay, like whatever. Like,
no, I got you.
If you talk more about relatable things, then people are like more engaged, right? So, so I'm taking that in consideration and trying to kind of like, I'm always trying to improve my craft and get stage time. And I write a lot, still online, and I kind of see, people commenting on jokes I write, and if I get, to me, it is like an open mic. Like if I tell a joke on Twitter and a comedian like laughs at it, I'm like, okay, that's funny. Like, so to me, that helps me.
Sure. It's funny when it comes to relatability and material. I feel like everyone has like every comic goes through like this level 1 relatability. For Black comics, it's I'm Black, but or for members of the LGBT community, it's like here's my coming out story, and after that builds on something else. And
right. I also try to be cognizant. I don't want to come out, I'm a woman and blah, blah, blah. Like, so I get, it's like, that gets old. Like, yeah. So you want to have stuff that everyone can relate to, and just, kind of, I guess Seinfeld was really good with doing that. And, so I should watch him more actually, but yeah, I watch all comics. I watch all specials just to kind of like see. And that's how I learn too. I like pick apart what they're doing and I study it.
Did you see the latest one, 23 Hours to Kill, from Seinfeld?
No. Last one? Oh no. Yeah, I did. That was a while ago though, right? It came
out. Yeah. There was the Jerry before Seinfeld, the one he used as a little material, but the 23 Hours to Kill I liked structurally because the first half was kind of like very classic Seinfeld, and I almost feel he was cognizant of hey, look, you guys want more of my life? Here you go. And the back half goes, now you're in my world. He just does all this family stuff. And I go, oh, wow. I'm actually physically seeing Seinfeld cross over into modern comedy. It's pretty sick.
So I'll have to watch that again. But yeah. Yeah, so
no, for sure. So let me ask you about you as a creative. I know comedy is one thing. You're also a producer and actor as well. Prefer actor or actress? Actor?
It does. I think actors now is like the correct term that people use, but yeah.
Okay. Always good to ask. You never know, right? Do you have like an advisory board? Do you have a board of trustees to the CEO company of Jennifer Gable? And who's that? Just curious.
It's mostly me. No, I'm lucky. I have like 3 amazing reps that actually work for me today. And that's, that's great. They have given me opportunities and they believe in me. I'm looking for more reps. Of course, I'm always like, trying to, because it's hard to get a rep that's going to work for you. It's one thing to get signed, but it's like, are they going to give you auditions? Are they going to give you opportunities and stuff like that? So,
sure.
Yeah, so I'm hoping for more of that. I would love that. And yeah.
So. But on a personal level, do you have like a cousin or a family member or a friend you hit up like, hey, advice, tips, tricks about doing it right? Life sucks.
Yeah, I do. I've had mentors in the business, and I do have friends I can rely on. So I think that's good to have that. And I listen to a lot of like podcasts too and interviews, and I kind of learn from other people's experience too. And like like Whitney Cummings to me is like a mentor. Like I love listening to her, and like I've met her, and I just think like women like that, they share about their experiences with producing, and so I learn from that.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I hear that. It was good to have a mentor, and if you feel like you're atop the mountain, mentee, right? Mentee City. So hot off the heels of "Don't Encourage Me," it's a brand new special coming out this year. You actually
Oh,
are
actually,
working.
no. That was an audio. So my special is gonna have a different title, but
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was
Don't worry.
the 2 hour audio special was "Don't Encourage Me," correct?
Yes,
And so
yes.
the one you have coming up is going to be a video special, and it is
Correct. It's going to be an hour video, so it's going to be some of that material with newer material as well.
absolutely. And let's talk about it then. So, what was the decision? What was it like? Now's the time to release a special and have it on the level that you're having it now in the theater in Los Angeles.
Yeah. So again, I just I'm a very impatient person. I don't
Yeah,
I hate waiting. And I just see other people. That's just where the industry is leaning, towards making their own specials. And so it's just something that I'm going to utilize as well now. I mean, it might change. So, it's interesting with this whole writers strike. I think is going to change the industry again. Hopefully, so it'll be better for artists, because a lot of the streaming services kind of it's good and it's bad. It's like artists aren't really getting paid what they used to, right?
right.
And I know Netflix, I won't, there was something that happened. It was someone's special, and I think Netflix stopped wanting to produce as many I don't know, but it seems like now people are selling their own specials and shows. So yeah, it's interesting. I love writing, and I want to be more a part of the WGA too. So, and that's the next step for me, and just kind of like working with WGA more.
So that's also a stepping stone for a lot of creators, though. But let's talk about the Los Angeles like culture, though. You just said before that sometimes it can be competitive. You decide to do this
It is.
video special, but I guess the team came out like Voltron, the Avengers, to help you out. What was that like to get people to be on board to help you produce this? Like, like you can't win
Um,
your
yeah, I mean, no, it's you just have to find good people again that are professional. And someone said directing is 80% casting, and I believe that's true, right? So I think with my last project too, like I made this pilot and then I made a short film before, and you do have to pick the best people. You need a good DP. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to it, and if someone's like on drugs, or if someone's drama, like it's not going to work out, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
so you just have to really choose wisely. Yeah.
How can
And
fans?
yeah,
Mhm. No, I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
I mean, just like interviewing, and I don't know, I just try to have an intuitive sense. Sometimes I usually I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but
I mean, that's kind of like the nature of the game, right? Good as a character or whatnot.
people, I mean,
Uh,
I had a girlfriend early on in comedy, and we're not friends anymore. And I don't know, I mean, stuff, I don't know. I try to be cool with everyone. And if it's like, if they don't like me, I'm like, whatever. It's like, who cares? Like, you can't please everyone. Like, I don't know.
is it really a small town within a small town in the comedy scene?
I mean, kind of, right? I mean, there's so many comedians though. I think I kind of know everyone from I mean, there's a lot of people I still haven't even really met. I mean, there's so many of us. That's the thing. Like, yeah.
What was interesting is so we did a couple shows together at the what's this bar show in Orange County? Oh, I forget what it was.
Okay,
I
probably.
was I was with Amir Weiss Najibi, one of those couples appearances or whatnot. And being able to work a crowd is something that we talk about as a technical skill, but it really is like fighting a fire. Each crowd is different, and so I could see sometimes being a little prickly if you have to be, right, to make sure that people have a good time. So
I think someone said to me too, like, you have to have likability. And if you're not a good person, people are going to feel that, and they're not going to like you on stage. I think likability has a lot to do with if you're genuinely a good person, people are going to like you. And I think that, you know what I mean? Like reads on stage.
yeah.
So.
Do you have a dream role within the comedy space, the acting stuff, and what's that like?
So I love acting, like playing like an evil character, like a serial killer or something. I think that's so fun, just because I'm not that in real life. Like, you can't do that. Like, I don't know. I think that would be so fun. And I always get cast as like, I haven't done that yet, but yeah.
So like big bad prestige TV serial killer, or like
I
Law and Order?
I've got cast a lot as like the FBI detective, cop. What else have they casted? So I find that interesting. But nothing like, I guess FBI is kind of sneaky, right? A role. So, but I think I love acting. I've done it here and there. And, I've been on so many sets, I've done a lot of background acting. And so I just love being on set. It's so fun. And I'm just so comfortable. I've done stand-in work. And, someone was talking about acting. It's really, you gotta be in the scene. The camera will pick up everything, like all your thoughts. I mean, it's like, it is hard to be a good actress. Like or actor. It's definitely a skill.
Yeah, I've had one acting role in my entire life, and it was recently too. It was not say by accident. It was a commercial, and it was non-union. So hey, what's going on? I thought it'd be like one line, like download the app today. But I showed up, and it was like the whole script was mine. I was like,
Wow.
oh no, this is actually a whole new
They
thing.
changed it last minute. Don't you love that? I think too, like being a comic and just improving, like it really helps too. Like when I made my pilot, when I make my projects, I love my actors just to improv, and it's so amazing when they do.
Everything clicks, everything gets the material. It's kind of cool to see that come to life sometimes.
Yeah.
So on the show, you usually ask all our creatives some questions to get to know them a little bit better. I won't call it lightning round because there's only 3 of them. But if you had a day off, if you believe in those, how do you spend a day off there?
I believe in those. No, I do. I do work a lot. I like to keep busy. I'm just a very hyperactive person. I've always been like this. I'm like just very energetic. I love singing, dancing. And just like, jogging. I jog and I go to the beach. I love the beach. Just being outside in nature, hiking, anything like athletic, biking. It's just very good for my mental health. I mean, like it's very stressful sometimes pursuing entertainment, and you need that release. You need that. Yeah. So, I mean, life is stressful. You need exercise. So I love exercise.
Are you close to the trails or the beach? Like,
I love staying close to the beach. I've done a lot of trail. I don't do like Runyon Canyon. There's too many people there. It's like,
I'm with that too. Like I live here in Culver City, and so there's like the Culver Stairs as opposed to the Culver Steps, which is the new mall downtown. The Culver Stairs is so crowded. You're like, what am I doing here? Like, health is my passion.
It's such a scene. Yeah.
It's like a 25-minute hike. You're like, all right. What would you say is your favorite junk food?
My favorite junk food?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I love food. I love chips and dip. I love chips and guacamole, chips and like salsa. I don't know why. I love nachos. It's like, yeah.
So you're more of a salty person? Salt over sweet?
I try to be like really healthy, and like talking about acting. I mean, like I know and that's all kind of changing. Like now they want realer people, and I think the weight thing, it does suck. Like the camera adds 10 pounds. I don't know why, but it does. It sucks. I hate it. And like I've noticed I gained weight over COVID, and I'm like, shit. So I try to like stay fit and like drink smoothies, and I try to eat pretty healthy.
Yeah, I do the whole running at home because it's really, very free. But I broke down and enjoyed the gym last week because you're right. There was like 4 cameras on me when I saw myself. I was like, holy crap, COVID ain't no joke. I'm totally with that. For me though, I would do anything, burgers or steak or beef Wellington. I'm just like just a meat, potatoes, and flaky crust guy. So a lot of us collect something. What do you collect?
Ooh, I love collecting. My new thing is rocks and crystals. I am
like the charge crystals or like
someone asked me, I'm not a witch. I don't do witchcraft, but like I believe, I don't know. I just like like I'm kind of like a spiritual person. I'm very open-minded, so I'm into all this like I don't know. I'm into a lot of things, but I like rocks and crystals, so I collect those recently. And then behind me, which you can't see, but I have like stuffed animal, like little figurines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you charge those crystals or no?
I don't. I'm not. I don't have time. Yeah, I'm not that into it. But I'm wearing one right now, and they're fun. Why not? Yeah, I can use extra help. I can use extra good energy. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Yeah. What? And this is kind of a sidetrack here, but when did you decide that you were more spiritual? It was like a aha moment, where it's kind of like, oh, this speaks to me, man. Like, what is that? Like?
So I've been sober for a really long time. I had a problem with alcohol I've talked about, and it's how I know a lot of comedians, a lot of industry people I'm in AA. Like, I don't care about saying, I mean, I'm open about it. People now are more open about their sobriety and stuff than they used to be. And, no, I mean, I think it ran in my family genetically. And, when I was 21, I was at the bar like all the time, and I was drinking all the time, and I got sober at like 21. I got sober really young. And, so with the program of AA, it's like a spiritual program. People think it's religious, which it's not. So with all that, yeah, I became spiritual, whatever that means. But yeah.
Fair enough. Like, no shade. Congratulations on your journey. And lastly, what is on your travel bucket list, either personally or there's venues you have to perform in? Let us know where you want to go visit
My
and take the
travel booklet,
yeah,
bucket list.
yeah.
I have yet to perform at Comedy Cellar and the Magic. What is it? Not Magic Hat. The Magic Club, Comedy Club.
Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa?
That one, yeah. Those are the only, I think those are the only two clubs. Yeah, I've never, so I want to perform in those two clubs and I want to go to Europe and perform. I have some European comedian friends and like, I think I was going, yeah, I want to tour Europe, just all over the world. Why not? It'd be fun. Yeah.
I didn't know if you had like a particular country, like, oh man, I got to go through Copenhagen. Well, Copenhagen's not a country, it's a city.
I love traveling. I'm trying to think if there's one. Yeah, anywhere really.
Yeah, good to know. I mean, look, if it takes off, do not turn down any opportunity to go out there and tell jokes and get paid for it. I mean,
I mean, like I'll tour locally, but honestly, like unless you're like super huge and there's really not a lot of money in touring. I don't think people know that. For a lot of comics, they go broke like touring, and so it's like I don't want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to. I mean, like I understand putting the money where your mouth is and investing, but you want to like put yourself in a position to put yourself on the street by going on the street
right,
tour.
Exactly.
Right?
Which a lot of comics have. Unfortunately, that's what happens with a lot of people. But yeah,
I think Yeah, I just think it's from a place where it's like we don't know what the next level is. You get to a certain part and you're like, do I tour now? Do I get a special now? Like what happens?
Yeah, I mean, it's like these comedy clubs need to pay us more. I think they're starting to. I mean, that was, a big debate back in the day. And again, I hope artists get paid more for what we're worth. We're worth it. Artists should be paid more, just like teachers, so.
That's true, but I mean, as long as bringer shows exist, especially this town, right? Bring nine guests, you get 3 minutes on stage. Like, okay.
I think that's changing more. I like to pay artists, and I've been on a lot of shows lately, and people pay me like gas money, and it's great. Like I love it. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like more of a respect issue. It's kind of like I know this is a small house. I can see it's a small house. As long as you're trying to give me something, I appreciate that.
Right.
But yeah, that's great. That's something I have to get myself back into. So we're talking about this a little bit offline. I was on a hiatus I didn't see coming. And of course, you can always do the old stuff, but I kind of was like, no, I want a new perspective out of a pandemic. I pretty much write myself into a corner where it's like, oh, my next joke, I swear. So I have to get back out there myself. So to be able to sit and chat with someone who's doing it, it's always good to hear those positive vibes. So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. If I wanted to engage with you, follow you, understand what's coming up, join your mailing list if you haven't, how do I go about doing that?
Yeah, so I'm pretty easy to find. Jennifer Gable. I'm on like every platform. Just Google me, you'll find me.
Oh, there you go.
By my name, yeah.
That took me 15 minutes to say that. And when I did, I was so hyped. I was like, Flobo Boyce, Google it. Thank you so much for being on New Amsterdam Radio, the podcast for creators, thinkers, and doers. And hopefully we'll have you back in a future episode. But we'll definitely be checking your stuff out as it's released.
Thank you so much.